People, deluded, I'm back again. Arsenal 4, MK Dons 1. And what can I say? We've got 2 games in a week. We've got the Community Shield against the league champions Liverpool, a strong Liverpool side. You know, we needed to get through MK Dons today. First things first, people needed to stay fit and pick up no knocks. Obviously, there's a little bit of fitness element to it. And it's our first game of pre-season, if you can call it a pre-season, in which has been a bit of a muddled up schedule. So yeah, man, credit to MK Dons. I think they played well. I think they played well in the second half. I think they took about 20 minutes to wake up. Once they stopped respecting us, I think they knocked the ball around okay. Obviously, there was a golfing quality between the two players. They didn't really trouble us, you know, it was an own goal from holding, but I think they did alright. I think the first 10 minutes, it felt like it was a longer game because they were respecting us way too much. Obviously, before I get into it, from a starting 11 point of view, we know pre-season everybody's going to get a game, and I don't believe in friendlies and that there's always something to play for, but the main thing is staying fit, just getting a little bit sharper and a little bit more in tune of things to come with obviously Saturday in regards. But Maitland-Niles, it was a big testing point, me seeing him start, because for obvious reasons he's linked with a move away from Wolves. Has the medical been done already? How much is him playing today disrupted that potential move? I don't know. Obviously, it's great to see Leno, Cedric Suarez, especially if Maitland-Niles goes and Bellerin's future's up in air. So you want to see Cedric Suarez nail down that spot. Obviously, it was what quality seeing Saliba, and Saliba had a good game. He showed his passing qualities. He showed he can bring it out from the back. Of course, with all due respect to MK Dons, it's a game where Saliba isn't going to be tested defensively. You saw how much time our individuals had on the ball, defenders, for large periods of games. But, you know, we always want to see him. And you've obviously got the usual suspects. I mean, Elneny, you never know. I think you should be sold. But at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is Arteta. You know, in the first 20, I think he played all right. And obviously, he scored that worldy of a goal. So, Arteta remembers that you've played. So, yeah, you've done your bit to kind of be in the manager's thinking. Like I said, the first 10 minutes felt like it was longer than it was, because I think we started off well, was moving the ball around. I felt MK Dons were respecting us a bit too much. To be fair to MK Dons, I like that they played out from the back. They pressed us in numbers, but I think as a result of them pressing, you saw gaps opening. And once the ball beat the first line of press, or the first individuals that were trying to press, we were in all the time. And maybe if there was a bit more on the line and stuff like that, there would have been a killer instinct. To be fair to MK Dons, I don't follow MK Dons religiously. I'm not an MK Dons fan, but it looked like the manager has told them something before the game, and they stuck to it. I don't know if they're a ball playing side, but it looked to me that they've been working on something in training with the keeper and trusting members of the midfield to get onto the ball. They stuck to it. They kept trying to play out from the back. I did feel early on their playing out from the back lacked intention. I feel, you know, like I said, I think they took 20 minutes to wake up, and I feel before that there was no real purpose to what they was doing. We obviously took advantage of poor defending, or poor miscalculations with the goalkeeper, and now Elneny, you know, it was a terrific goal from range for Elneny, and he scored. For me, the second goal that we scored was obviously good. You know, Eddie Nketiah gets the headlines, he scored. Bukayo Saka, he looked quite lively for me, gets an assist. Cedric Suarez was involved. For me, it was the best goal because it was a lovely team move from everybody involved. Saliba might not get the assist or get the highlights, but he was heavily involved in the early stages. It was a good move, and that's the sort of moves I want to see us doing next season. So I felt we deserved to be 2-0 up. Our start deserved that and things like that, and we did what we could. Like I said, I think Cedric is having a so-so game. I think he's putting himself around. I think he's doing all right. I just feel he's a bit rusty on the ball. He's giving the ball away unnecessarily. The passes don't have as much crisps on them as they should. That being said, he put in a number of decent balls. I'm not saying he played poorly. You know, I'm getting tired of speaking about Tierney. You know Tierney's on this. Wanted to see a bit more from Aubameyang, but again, save yourself till we return to Wembley, where you stood up to be counted the previous 2 times, and we need your 3rd time on Saturday. Maitland-Niles, again, if you're not even in the squad come then, you know, we're going to have to see what we can do in defence. You know, and like I said, it took MK Dons about 20 minutes to wake up, and I felt that reflected when they kind of scored. I think they had a 10-11 minute passage where they made it hard. I think Xhaka and Elneny were having a bit too easy in the midfield, and then suddenly they made them start working, and they got their goal. You know, the move to the goal was quite good. We gave it to them. You know, holding, you've got to try harder to actually score that. So I don't know how it's gone. Watching it back, I mean, again, just based on the instant replay he was given, it looked like Holding was completely unaware of who was around him or how much space he had. For me, looking at his positioning, he looked like he's caught flat-footed. and it's a calamity of a header, and it's a gift for MK Dons, and it goes past Leno, and it ruins the clean sheet we potentially could have had. And again, it's just a friendly, but it makes the game a bit more nervous and a bit more tight. You know, it's 2-1, and from that there was large passages where I wouldn't say MK Dons troubled us, but they definitely showed more than they did in the first 10 people, in my opinion. And like I said, they deserved that goal, man. At half time, all that's going through my head is credit to MK Dons. They're staying strict to what their managers taught them and what they're trying to implement this season. At times, they've pressed us a bit well. I think they ended the half a bit more strongly, and things like that. I think they were giving us a bit too much space, and I just think they didn't break with any intent. They gave us all the time in the world. From an Arsenal perspective, obviously you want us to see us score a bit more goals and make it more daylight. You know, you've got young players on the bench and things like that. You know substitutions are going to happen. You know it's unlikely that Kieran Tierney and Aubameyang are going to play. You know, you don't want them to play 90 minutes and other players like that, and there was changes. You know, I think it was interesting seeing after the game Emil Smith-Rowe seemed to be being coached by Stefan Berg, and it was interesting what our existing players were doing at half-time in terms of keeping warming up. But I think we're good for our lead, man. I think there were some good incidences of play. Obviously, there isn't too much to scream and shout about. You know, for the defenders, you know, Saliba, again, you want to really review him when he's playing against stronger opposition, but couldn't have had a better game in terms of confidence. He's not being pressed. There's a golfing class between the levels of players, let's be honest. So it is what it is, really and truly. Second half, you saw a whole bunch of changes. At half-time, you saw some changes. During the game, you saw some changes. And for me, it was lovely to obviously see Reiss Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, fresh from his loan spell. McGuinness came on and scored. Ballard, who's had a tough time with injury, got some moments at centre-half. You know, McGuinness obviously scored in the second half. Ben Cottrell, I think, had a very tidy game at left-back. You know, probably needs to develop a bit physically before he takes inroads into the man's game outright, but showed he's a tidy footballer. I feel Miguel Aziz let the game pass him by slightly, because I know he's got more in his locker, but he got to show what he could do to a degree. You know, you were seeing unfamiliar things like Joe Willock play wing-back as well, it appeared. And there were some other changes, people, and, you know, daylight kind of came. And for the young players, that was interesting because, you know, I think the young players all did okay, but there was a couple of incidences where Emil could have done better. There was incidences where we all could have done better. And I think in the defenders in particular, I was seeing Daniel Ballard get conned by his more experienced players and stuff like that. Saw a couple stray passes from Bowler and McGuinness respectively. So this is why I like the young players to get exposed to playing against men, because they immediately see what can and can't do. It's not always picked up on at academy level. And what I like as well is whether these players make it here or not, you know, it shows that if you work hard you can get opportunities with the first team, and they've all made unofficial debuts, and there was even a couple on the bench. You know, the 3-1 goal comes about. Tyrese John-Jules does very well to hold up the ball and make a yard for himself. He's a better, you know, he's a better finisher than the effort showed. He could have struck it a bit cleaner, and he strikes it cleaner, he scores. Either way, you know, it goes out for a corner. Reiss Nelson steps up and takes the corner, and apologies, people, McGuinness steps up and scores a convincing corner header from the corner, and it is what it is in that regard. You know, it's given us a bit of daylight. You know, 4-1 comes about. Obviously, Reiss Nelson is brought down by a trialist of MK Dons. Can't imagine he's covered himself with any glory with that one. He's brought him down. Nelson steps up and gets a goal to match his assist, and he makes it 4-1, people. So yeah, man, Eddie's got a goal, Nelson's got a goal. You know, sadly there's been an own goal. You know, McGuinness has scored as well. There's been decent, you know, and then they scored a peach of a goal. Young players got to make debuts, and for me, all that really matters is that players are fit. Fitness is the key thing, you know, fitness, and we're able to come through this, and we can firmly just focus on Liverpool on Saturday now, you know, and I'll be keen to see, because obviously, I don't know everybody's fitness levels, and we did just stop playing a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, certain players that you'd expect to be involved at Wembley might not be involved, you know. Are the players that weren't involved today, will there be a behind closed doors friendly? Will there be an intra-base friendly? Will they just have to get going? I don't know. Has Saliba thrown himself as a candidate to play? I'm not too sure what we'll do. We'll have to assess the situation. But for now, it's always a pleasure. DG, I'm out.